Reezy, how you doing, brother? My name is DL Chandler, senior editor of Hip Hop Wired. Man, you're here with Certified Fresh. It's a bi-weekly playlist we do where we feature up and coming and established artists alongside each other. And one of the ethos of Certified Fresh is that we don't segregate our hip hop. Like I believe that all of it belongs together. So welcome to the fold, and thank you for coming on board with us, man. How you doing?
I'm super fantastic, man. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate this opportunity and this platform.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you right now. I just discovered you literally this month. You know,
Yeah.
uh, I think someone was playing some music of yours. Like, you know how back in the day, I'm sure your pops can relate. You know, back in the day, somebody would put you onto a new track. Like, oh, have you heard this? Have you heard this
Mm-hmm.
joint, right? And one of my friends put this song onto my radar called "Have Mercy," and
Mm-hmm.
um, and the way that you were rhyming on it, me being a man of a certain age, it was a certain bop to it. I
Uh-huh.
I flocked to it. I loved it. You know what I mean? Talk to
Uh-huh.
me about that song, man, and the creation and what you were going for would Have Mercy, man.
Have Mercy was I made the beat um for it. I produced it. And I just wanted to tell a story of something real that was going on in life. Something that happened in my life when I was younger. An experience that I lived with for 20 years that I finally was able to um, express over music. Because, it's so many things that happen for a long period of time. And then you just got to reach a certain age to be able to express it over music. So, or express it in art. So that was that. And, I really was just running it very emotional, no hook. It just feels like the lights are off when that song starts. Like you could literally close your eyes and go exactly to where I'm at, and it always brings me back. That's my favorite track on the project. So
All right.
very great track, and yeah. And then after I was listening to it, I was like, man, I kind of sound like Andre a little bit on this, like not intentionally, like, but afterwards I was like, yeah. So yeah, that's Have Mercy though. That's my favorite track on there.
Well, let's
And it
talk about
feel
the project a little bit.
yeah.
Welcome to Louisiana, Volume
Mm-hmm.
1. And I just ran the whole 8-song project. You got production featuring mostly your beats, but you also got J Bugs and beats by JT on there. But talk to me a bit
Mm-hmm.
about the project and what you hope to achieve with it, man.
Say what I wanted to do. What?
What you want to achieve with Welcome to Louisiana Volume 1. Like, what's the purpose or the goal? What do you hope that people get from it when they hear the record, the whole record?
Man, I want people to know that rap music is here, and a lot of as long as I can remember, I always been hearing we need this, we need something positive, we need something different. Well, it's here. So
Right.
if you ain't rocking with it, then that would be hypocritical. And nothing wrong with that, but I want to just make a statement like, um, this is who I am and I'm here to stay. I'm rap amazing. I tell great stories. I make great beats. And I wanted people to step into my world of what I do in New Orleans. Like I watch my favorite projects is just a capsule of time where people are at, what's going on. And I want to do it like a mixtape though, because I mixtapes I could be a little more free. I could talk a little more, what I'm saying, a little more wild. I could do a little funny remarks or whatever. It don't have to be so polished. It don't have to have the pressure. It's just like, it's like an introduction. It's a mixtape, and it's the naturalness of the mixtape. Is the no transitions. Is the just the 808s, just like tracks like Have Mercy where I'm rapping the whole song. Um, and I want people to know what New Orleans is like. Put New Orleans on the front line. Like it's the New Orleans is the most musical city in America, the most Africanized city in America. And I gotta represent it. I'm blessed
Yeah,
with
I was
with
sorry.
the opportunity to. I am a rapper, one of the first rappers or only one of my time right now from where I'm at having this attention. I can't take it for granted. I gotta represent.
Right, right. So for me, I've been to Louisiana many times, and
Yeah.
one thing, front to back, everybody you meet from the city, from New Orleans, rather, um, we go to New Orleans, everybody knows how to play something or sing or they can
Yep.
dance. They have
Yep.
some sort of musical ability, man. So
Yeah.
when you were young man, before rap, what were you doing musically before you got it to rhyming?
Man, I always been like doing something. When I was 4 years old, I used to dress up as Michael Jackson and dance at the parties for my grandparents, and my grandma would like sew a glove and sew like an outfit together for me, and I would go around performing. And then it's like, we was on the party buses, and it would be who bounce music playing, and we would just be dancing and jigging and what you call it, shoulder hustling or whatever we was doing. We always dancing. Second line, randomly pass up my street. I don't got no socks or shoes on. I run outside. I'm second lining on top of the truck.
Mhm.
Like it always just be like, it always was something. I never was like a musically trained person, but everyone, it's just the dancing, I feel like it's always just been in my DNA. And then also I think like my great grandparents or great grandfather was like a musician as well. But it's all passes down. And then I was 14 and I was like, I want to start rapping. I want to do something, but I want to be different though. Everyone is doing this. If I could just be a little different, it'll work. So that would be like, I always was dancing. I always was a dancer. I always was like break dancing, doing the nay nay. I was always dancing for real, for real.
I hear you on that. Well, let's shift back to the project. Welcome to Louisiana Volume One. Now, one thing I will say about the project, the mixtape, if you will, is that it's very rooted in what people would consider underground hip hop. And I don't
Mhm,
use that term
mhm,
loosely. And I don't
mhm,
really like using it really, honestly, because hip hop is hip hop, right? If you rhyme it over a beat, it's hip hop to me, right? But
mhm,
there is a certain aesthetic to the project, and it
mhm.
has a certain bop to it that I would say someone who was into like underground hip hop would be into. Was that intentional? That's just the vibe you on. What was the whole point of that?
Yeah, no, it wasn't intentional. I was not trying to be like I'm never trying to be old school. I'm never trying to be like a reminiscent of, like, I might have the inspiration, but it's never like my thought. Like I'm trying to be. I just be having so much to say. I have to slow the beat down. Like I
Yeah,
have to work the 85 to 92 BPM because I'm really saying a message. Like, and I really want to get it across. So I can't. I can't rap Have Mercy at 120 BPM. Like, you know what I'm saying? It,
right,
it,
right,
it wouldn't work. So
right.
I think that's really it. Like I just had so much I had to say. That was kind of the thought process, I guess. And I'm kind of doing what the calling is. I may not even really I'm just doing what felt best in the moment. And like, oh, this just feel good. And like, let me write to it. Oh, I like the song. And then for whatever reason, I have to understand how I love it before other people perceive it because I don't want to get it confused how I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So for me, it's just making the art. I wanted to kind of reminisce of Kendrick Lamar early mixtapes, Lil Wayne, some of Kanye early projects, and yeah, that was that's it. That's what I want. I had make a long story short though. The underground hip hop, meaning like probably some of the slower or more boom bappy type of stuff. I just or soulful, man. I be having some words to say, dog. It's a lot going on in the world, and you understand how long people have an attention span for. So it might only be 3 minutes. Someone get to hit me explain why we need to control our minds or take control of our destiny. I might have to slow the beat down to get it across, but as long as the message get across, you rocking with it. So that's how it be.
Well, speaking of that, you mentioned some of your influences. Could you talk a bit more about some of the people who inspire you to rhyme? You say you picked it up at 14. So what was the reason you said, all right, I could do this for a living? I want to do this at 14. Who was somebody that you
When
looked
I
up
was
to?
14, it was NBA YoungBoy.
Wow.
NBA YoungBoy is a vocal, true narrator of what is also like growing up in the South. He in Baton Rouge, so that's an hour away.
Mm.
Same similar culture but still different, but yeah, young boy was the guy. He was like that guy when I was 14, really 14 to 16, it was really like young boy for sure. So I would say that was that for me.
So after you moved away from listening to Young Boy and then getting into your own music, I noticed that, on the project, you're producing the bulk of it, right? So
Mhm.
what came first, making beats or rhyming?
Rhyming, I was rapping for 3 years before I started producing. I just started producing 3 years ago, or two
Uh-huh.
years ago. So between 14 and 17, really 14 to 18, I was just rapping. I had a good friend. His name Glizzy Go Crazy, and he used to make my beats when I was like 16 to like 18. He was making a lot of my beats, and I would just like he would come over to my house. He would sleep over at my house, and we would be cooking up, and I would watch him make the beats. I would tell him what samples I wanted because I always loved just soulful samples.
Mm.
I would tell him what I would watch how he made the beats. So when I started producing at 18, the reason I started producing was I seen the Kanye documentary because I wasn't too familiar with like the stuff Kanye was doing. So it was like a first time I had to like, I'm like, wow, this guy reminds me of me, kind of, you know. So
Mm.
and he was producing the beats. So I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then Tyler the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost had came out, and I had got up on it like probably like a year later, I think. Yeah, I think it was like a year later. But when I listened to it, I was like, wow, I love the music. Who produced it? When I found out he produced it, I was like, that's the green light right there. So I started producing in August of 2022. And I knew what a good beat and a trash beat sounded like because I had been rapping for 3 years and I watched producers. So it was like, okay, like I have an idea of it. But so that was really it for me. And I wanted to I had sounds in my brain I knew I could make, but it was hard to express it to producers, so I just had to do it myself. Out of
Right.
necessity, kind of like I wanted to take my producing skills to the next level more than I think anyone my age. Because one think about it, when I started making beats, I didn't have no like name. It wasn't like people was trying to send me beats. Maybe like two producers or one producer, including the one I was working with. So I didn't really have that many beat options. Or people was like, "Oh, it's gonna be $100 for a beat," and I'm 17. I don't have no. I probably had $30 to my name. You know, so it's like I had to make beats out of a necessity because I knew I wanted to create something more than the caliber of what people around me might could comprehend. So out of necessity, I started producing. You
Got that.
know,
I like that. So that's awesome. Congrats to you. Now I
thank
want to go back to the project. Welcome to Louisiana Volume One. You have only one feature, Malachi, is on there, but you do
yeah.
have a couple of other producers on it, J Books and Beats by JT, who is amazing, by the way. I think he's one of the best out there with the
Hmm.
finger drumming, thing that he
Crazy.
does. And so, did you learn from those guys too, or is it something that you just been working with those guys for a minute and that was it, or what?
Yeah, Jay Bugs, I got an entire project out with him called We All Need Help. It's a collab project. And that's like when it comes to producing beats, it's like my beats and then his beats. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
Jay Bugs is like, he really understands my sound, and we have very similar taste in music production for rap. So it's kind of like I always just be sharing ideas to him, like, yo, this what I have, or like he might send me samples to chop, and so it's still a producer. It's like a producer and rapper collaboration partnership. So he'll send me stuff, and he sent me a sample. Or like sometimes he might send me buku beats because he probably send me like 3 beats a day. And I can't listen to them all at once because I be doing whatever. And then I might be like, all right, I'm about to produce today. And I might go through all of the stuff he sent and be like, oh, he sent a sample with no drums. Let me add something to it. And that it might have been from 4 months ago, but I like it when I hear it. So it's never bad. It's always just, yeah. But then JT, he like he crazy. You know what I'm
The
saying?
wizard,
It's
the
like
wizard, man. Yeah.
it's a real musical skill to it though, cause like he's basically playing drums with just with his fingers. Like he don't have to do this, but he could. You know what I'm saying? It's just as if it was live, like on some Just Blaze stuff. So, with that, I had that track Liberated, and I knew I wanted the drums to sound like Touch the Sky, like Kanye's. So I was like, okay, who produced Touch the Sky? And it was like Just Blaze did the drums, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe Kanye did, but it felt like some Just Blaze drums. So I was like, oh, I know someone that could probably get me the closest thing to this. So JT knocked out them drums, and we got some new stuff we working on. He helping me out with. So yeah, man. I mean, producing.
I think it
I'm good at
froze.
what I could do, and some things, some other people could do some things better.
I think it froze.
You can hear me?
I can hear you now. You good?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it froze up a little bit on us. I don't know. Technology, you know how it is, man.
yeah,
We'll
yeah,
edit
yeah, yeah.
all that out. We'll make sure that sounds good later on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I do want to ask another question though. What's next after Volume One? Is it Volume Two coming soon?
So I do have a project with PJ Morton, a rap
Oh,
mixtape releasing in June. So that's gonna be nice. I just want to work. I was like, you know what? I don't want to look at no numbers. I just want to do 1 year of work, and then I'll look and see what happened. You
so it's
know.
working.
So I got that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if volume two will come out, maybe. But then once I'm done, like once the project with PJ Morgan come out, I'm back to promoting the mixtape again. Like I want to promote it for like the whole year because it's good music. Like, and then the cool thing is I know how to make content, so I can keep repurposing it because I know how to make great videos as well. So
Yeah.
I kind of keep repurposing the music. So
That's one thing about your generation that I think you guys do better than our generation did. You understand that the visual component of the song is how a lot of people are accessing music. Like people your age are on YouTube listening to music, whereas old dinosaurs like me are still on their phones or in their tape decks in their cars. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But
but
I,
I
I
would say though,
yeah,
it's interesting because when I was like, how did Lil Wayne sell 1 million copies without the internet? I was like, I don't know how I would have been able to market out of a trunk. Like I can't comprehend or see myself doing that, but that was a whole nother skill. So it's really be the same thing, just like different versions of it, you know?
right. The hustle is the hustle, right? You're gonna make the music and to put it out there and make people try to feel it.
Yeah.
I hear that. So, if beyond music, man, what does Reezy do outside of music, man? I would love to know what's the day in the life of Reezy outside of rhyming, man.
Wow. I don't know if there's really much of a life outside of rhyming. I ride my bike, I work out, and when I'm not rapping, man, I'm not rhyming or working on the craft. I'm just thinking. I'm thinking of new ideas. I'm talking with God. I'm talking with family. I'm probably talking with my dad for like 50 minutes, hanging out with my girlfriend. But I don't really do much but work. So, but work, it's not like work, it's like breathing almost. It's not like I'm working. It's just, I really want to be the greatest. I want to be the biggest. And I see so much in a day. It's like I was telling myself, I have these like lenses I've developed. I have these sensitive eyes, I guess, and everything I see, even if I see like, you know, a kid playing outside in the street just in a diaper with no shirt on and no socks and shoes, that does something to me. You know what I'm saying? And like I feel like I have to write about it. Or if I see a older black lady riding a bike and she got buku grocery bags on the bike and she's 70 years old, but she like, you know what I'm saying? Things like that is like, so everything be like hitting me and I be like, I gotta write about it. So, it kind of, I always be working. But when I'm not, I'm probably just hanging out outside, I be outside. I be in the trees. I be in the trees, man.
Yeah, I like that. I have to say to you, Reezy, your future is bright, man. There's a lot of hunger in your music. There's a lot of focus too, and like you said, there might be one message on Welcome to Louisiana, but I think the bigger picture is that you have a lot to say, and I think
Mhm.
people want to hear more of it. So we can't wait to hear more from you. And I believe that what you have right now, as far as your art goes, is some of the best stuff I've heard from a young man in a very long time, and it's inspiring to me as someone who's a fan of this music. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You have a very bright, brilliant future ahead of you, young man. So thank you for
Thank
the time. I really appreciate you coming on. And where can people find you online, bro?
you. Lareezy, Lareezy, Lareezy.
Appreciate that, brother. You
Thank
have a
you,
good
man.
one, man.
All
Hey,
right,
yo,
man.
I wanted to tell you this before I get off of here. You're in New Orleans, right? I have a homeboy down there. His name is Cavalier. He's a rapper and producer out of Brooklyn. You need to get with him
Got you.
because
Send me his stuff.
I'm gonna tell you right now because the kind of music you do and the kind of music he do, like he like Diggable Planets, like he like from the night he from old Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? But he lives there now, so he has the warmth of the music down there, but all that grit from Brooklyn. Y'all need to get together, man. I think y'all
I
would make
got
some
you.
beautiful music together, yo. So I'll put you in contact with him. He's a good friend of mine too. He's dope too.
Let's
So
do it, man.
all right, brother. All right, travel safe, man. I hope to see you on the road soon, man.
Thank you for sure. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Blessings, brother.